All right, let's jump right into a really crucial topic for your GS Paper 2 preparation, the brand new UN Convention on Cybercrime. Now, this is where technology, international law, and national sovereignty all crash into each other. We're going to break down exactly what this treaty is, and maybe more importantly, why India is being so careful about it. Let's get into it.
It all kicks off with this number, 72. That's the number of nations that have already signed on the dotted line for a huge new treaty aimed at fighting cybercrime across the globe. You got to see this as a massive step toward creating a single set of rules for our digital world.
But that number also raises the big question for us today. India is a digital giant, right? So why isn't it on that list of 72? Now, this isn't just some accident. It's a strategic decision, and getting to the bottom of it is key. That's the puzzle we're here to figure out.
To really get why we even need a new treaty in the first place, we have to look at the problem itself. And the problem, at its core, is that cybercrime just doesn't care about borders.
I mean, just think about it. A phishing scam can start in one country, bounce its signal through servers in 5 different nations, and hit victims in another one. All of that in the blink of an eye. Our legal systems, they were designed for a physical world. And honestly, they're always playing catch-up. This creates these massive loopholes that criminals are experts at using, which makes real, seamless international cooperation not just a nice-to-have, but an absolute must.
And that leads us straight to the proposed solution, the United Nations Convention Against Cybercrime. This is, without a doubt, the world's biggest attempt yet to build a legal framework that can move as fast and be as borderless as the internet itself. Now, pay really close attention to the words here. The 2 key terms you need for your notes are universal and legally binding. This is so important. This isn't just a list of suggestions. It's a powerful international law that's meant to cover all serious crimes where there's electronic evidence, not just the stuff we traditionally think of as cybercrime.
So, how's it supposed to work? Well, the whole thing is built on 5 main pillars. First, it criminalizes a whole bunch of offenses so that everyone's on the same page legally. Then, to actually act on that, it sets up a cooperation network for sharing info fast. But, and this is a huge but for countries like India, it also says it will protect state sovereignty. It also focuses on supporting victims, not just punishing criminals. And, most importantly, it's all supposed to be built on the foundation of upholding human rights.
Let's quickly walk through the timeline. As you can see, the treaty got the green light in late 2024. Now, the window for countries to sign is open until the end of 2026. But remember, just signing it is only the first step. The real trigger, the thing that makes it actual international law, is ratification. It only officially starts 90 days after the 40th country formally ratifies it through its own legal system.
Okay, so this new treaty didn't just appear out of thin air. To really grasp why it's such a big deal, we have to compare it to what came before it, which is the Budapest Convention. Putting them side by side really clarifies the major political shifts that are happening.
This table lays it all out. The Budapest Convention from 2001, it was a big first step, but it came from the Council of Europe, and most of the world saw it as a Western-led project. The new UN Convention? It's a whole different animal. It's global right from the start. It has a much wider group of supporters, and its scope is way, way bigger, covering a whole lot more online crimes.
And this quote right here, it gets to the core of the politics. You had major world powers like Russia and China who looked at the Budapest framework and basically said, this wasn't made for us. Their push to get a new treaty under the UN was all about creating a framework that felt more representative of the whole world. So this isn't just a legal update, it's a big political one too.
Which brings us right back to square one, to our main question. We have this new, seemingly more inclusive global treaty out there. So why is India hitting the pause button? The fact is simple. India has not signed it. And this isn't a case of being slow. It's a deliberate choice that comes from a very deep and careful look at India's own national interests.
So let's try to get inside the thinking in New Delhi. What are the really critical issues and potential deal breakers that Indian policymakers are weighing as they look at this treaty?
This slide, right here, this is the heart of India's dilemma. It's that classic balancing act. On one hand, you absolutely need international cooperation, but on the other, you have these core constitutional principles, things like data sovereignty, the idea that data created in India should be governed by Indian laws. Then there are real fears that if you define cybercrime too broadly, it could be twisted to shut down free speech, a fundamental right under Article 19. And of course, any system for sharing electronic evidence with other countries has to square with the Supreme Court's landmark ruling on the right to privacy under Article 21. These aren't minor details. They're the incredibly complex, high-stakes trade-offs that India is grappling with.
Okay, let's pull all of this together. It's time to boil this whole topic down into the sharp, precise points you're going to need for your exams. This is where we connect all these ideas to the kind of questions you might actually face. For prelims, you need to have the facts down cold. The adoption year, 2024. The 5 key pillars, the current number of signatories, India's status, and the role of the UN Office on Drugs and Crime. But for mains, you've got to shift into analysis mode. That's the whole geopolitical fight between the Budapest and UN conventions, India's specific worries about its sovereignty and fundamental rights, and that timeless governance puzzle of balancing national security against citizen privacy.
So here's the quick summary. A new, universal cybercrime treaty is now a reality, and a lot of nations have signed it. It's bigger and more inclusive than the old Budapest Convention. But India is holding out, carefully thinking through what this means for its sovereignty, its data, and the fundamental rights of its people.
And that leaves us with this final question, something perfectly framed for Main's answer. As the whole world is trying to write the rulebook for our digital future, how should a major power like India handle these tricky trade-offs between global rules and its own national interests? The answer to that is going to shape India's role in the digital world for years to come.